One, actually, question, Nicole, are we doing cybersecurity soon? I don't have the schedule up.
Ashley, can you look at, I know Zoom tips and tricks is on the 17th.
No, we don't have that scheduled, but we definitely could.
I think maybe for July or August, we might.
Yeah, I think so. I think that will be ideal. And I'll share a story, and Kevin can probably chime in as well. But it's something that I think everybody in the whole freaking world needs to hear, because it's very sad. As far as one of our clients that we work with, over the years got, taken advantage of by a very, very common scam. And it's something that I just ask myself the question, like, how did it get this far? And we'll kind of explain to you how it got that far. So I will leave some time for that, just to kind of explain that story, but I'll get to the questions first, and then we'll kind of go into the cybersecurity. And then once I get off, I'll liaison with Nicole and Ashley, and we'll figure out when we can add in the cybersecurity class, and we'll add this piece in there a little bit more. But we'll talk about that in a little bit later. For the meantime, should we start with the chat first, Nicole?
Yeah, because I see Sherry started off with, has a question about restoring contacts after a few months have been deleted, and if she can restore contacts, how can she do that?
Sure. Let's see here. Sherry, I'm just looking for you. I'm looking at a lot of people. Are you there? Okay, I see you.
Uh-huh.
So what type of device do you have?
I have an Android.
Okay, and you said you've deleted these contacts on your Android a few months ago, and now you're trying to restore them, correct?
Uh-huh.
May I ask you, do you know where they were being saved? Was it via Google, or did you have them like on a device itself, like on a little SIM card or a storage?
I don't know, because I did it by accident.
So typically what I would say on both Android and Apple devices, if you ever delete contacts, I just shared this in the class that we were given at IBIS today. Sometimes if you're backing up your phone, you could, if the contact, and not to say these people aren't that important, but I say this only to say, usually when it's backing up your whole device, you can revert to an older backup if you were backing up that device and then restored at that point. Now, let's say, for instance, this was 2 months ago and you've gotten texts and you got all of these different things since then. You may not want to revert your phone back for that contact if you could just add a few more contacts to your phone. So usually if it's being saved via Google, when you delete it, it will delete out the cloud, and there is no backup of that unless you're backing up with one of those services. So unfortunately, on both iPhone as well as Android, it's hard just to go and get that particular contact or contacts without restoring the phone itself.
Oh, I understand.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, sometimes, Sherry, I've had where people have had it saved on another device, and then we were able to restore it from there. But I wish there was an easier way.
Yeah, I didn't know I should save it.
I see. I see. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right.
Do we have time for one more question, or do you want to go on to?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. I wanted to delete some photos.
Okay.
So then it wouldn't let me. So I take it into the phone store and they fix it. And then a little while later, it's back again. I still can't delete them.
Where are the photos living? Are they living in the Photos app on your Android or Google Photos?
Oh, I don't know where they're at.
So that I would find out. Normally, I mean, both of those cases.
Google. I think it's Google.
Okay, so what I would just go and check, because you have Google Photos, so you'll be able to see, a good test would be when you actually look at your phone, it's connected to Google, then I usually test by pulling up photos.google.com, or you could just Google Photos, and it should take you to that URL. Okay. What I like to see when you sign in, you'll be able to see all of your photos right on the computer, on the browser, and then just take a test picture, test it out, take the picture. It should, after about a minute or so, depending upon the internet connection, populate on the screen, so you'll be able to see that photo. I would delete it from your phone to see if it deletes on the computer, and then vice versa. Take another one, delete it on the computer and see if it deletes on the phone. That's just a test right there that I would do. And if that's the case, then if both of those tests work, I'm not sure what happened when they deleted the photos, but I would then go and delete those photos and see if they come back. But they should not come back once they're deleted.
Right. Well,
Yes.
they don't come back, but that when I go to the phone store, they
Mhm.
delete the photos, and then I try, and then after maybe a day or so, I can't
Yeah.
delete any more photos.
That sounds like, I mean, do you have a storage issue or something?
I don't know. They can't seem
Okay.
to fix it. So,
Yeah, if you run that test, I mean, that test itself should, I mean, if they're deleting a bunch of photos, they should all stay deleted. That's the way it works. But I do understand that it is technology and it's not perfect, but I've yet to see where we've deleted photos a decent amount and start with a small amount where they came back, especially when it comes down to the cloud. So I would do that test from both sides, delete from the computer, then delete from the phone, ensure that those actually stay deleted, and then kind of ante up and see if you can delete multiple photos at that point.
yeah, they stay deleted, but I just can't delete anymore. That's all.
Have you tried to maybe restart your phone after that?
No, I didn't try that.
Try that too. I mean, it's a simple
Okay.
trick, but sometimes that may kind of
Okay.
kick it into gear, if that makes sense.
Okay, I'll try that.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
All right, you're welcome, Sherry.
All right, Julie, I see you have your hand up. Julie Kramer, go ahead if you want to unmute.
Okay. Hi. I have a Surface Pro that my husband had bought at Costco, and then he didn't like it, or he got a different one and he gave it to me. He didn't use it a lot, but he had it all set up, when I got it.
Yeah.
So I just continued the backup to the OneDrive or whatever, because that was on his email and I never knew how to change that. So I just left it and I don't have it backed up at all. But I noticed there's a thing on it that says, you have your local data drive, which is C, and then there's a D drive, which is SDXC. Now, I don't think he would have named it that. I don't know if that means anything to you or not. And I've been kind of watching the size, and it's going down, down, down as far as the free space. And I'm wondering if that's some kind of an internal backup of some sort.
It could be. So you're right with the C drive. That is the hard drive in most cases. I've rarely seen anyone change that to back up or have the local storage be something else. There are other ways, but we don't have to get into that. Right. The C drive itself, if you're backing up local via the C drive, it's going to save on that hard drive. Now, if there is a external hard drive or a thumb drive attached to the computer, that would probably be a different drive, or a backup where he could have allocated certain space. He could have formatted it and reserve certain space for those backups. So it's hard to say without seeing it. But if you're saving things to the cloud,
I'm not saving anything anywhere except for on my desktop.
Well, what about OneDrive? Is OneDrive backing it up?
No, because I told you I undid that because when I first got it, it was going to back it up and use his email, and I thought it might mess up his OneDrive. I don't know enough about any of that, so it doesn't back it up to there. I don't have that much to back up, to be honest, but I do have a lot of photos, and I did miss some of them, and I'm wondering if they could be on this SDXC. Because
they certainly could be. If you were to check, I mean, it's literally going into like my computer or the file explorer and clicking on, you'll see like my PC or whatever, and looking at the C drive. And then you can go to that D drive, whatever this drive is, and see, because it's hard to say what it is. It could be something that's networked around your house. Depends upon your tech that set it up or your husband. But that's not a typical drive that will just be there. It's normally just a C drive or something that's Google. Now, another thing that you could have done, and maybe it's not too late, but he could have kept his world and then you could have set up a brand new user and had a brand new computer, if you will, where now you could have named it Julie and you had your own user on there. He could have kept that user, and that way it would have never interfered and you would have kind of started from scratch. So it's not too late. It's still an option. You can go into the control panel or settings and create a new user, and you can just set up all your stuff and it'll be like a brand new house over there for you.
Okay. Are there ever multiple desktops like on the same, like that you can switch between desktops? I don't know anything about that, but it seems to me like I'm noticing that that could be.
That could be, yeah. We have that feature on a Mac, and you could have it on a PC. It's a more advanced feature. A lot of people are multitasking. So again, if you want to kind of go back to step one, if he messed around with a lot of the settings, which it seemed like maybe he did, you could just set up that new user over there, go over that to that other side, and you won't break anything. Just make sure you set yourself up as an administrator so that you will have full rights to make any changes on that computer.
Okay, I'll give it a try. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, Julie.
Right. And then Diane B wrote in, when I receive an email from my husband's iPad, why does his email go to my trash?
Let me ask you. So Diane, are you there?
Yeah, right here. Can you see me?
Okay, I can see you there. Okay, perfect. So has this emails always been going to trash?
I don't recall, but the last couple months they've been going to trash. I mean, luckily we can, like he sends me something and then I'm like, wait, it's not showing up on my inbox, but then it pops up on the trash.
And it definitely isn't going to junk. It's for sure going to trash, right?
Trash it is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would check. What's your email? Like you're at what? Are you at AOL, at Yahoo? Verizon. I would check your settings with Verizon. So one of the things that could have been done by accident is where, actually, I wouldn't even, you would have to manually do this, is a filter can be set up where it just kind of redirects that email and throws it into trash. I would go and check to see if the filter is on there. And even if there isn't, the reason, because most email, even if I were to send you an email and they would think I was junk, it should go into junk first and then trash. But sometimes people have junk just automatically going to trash, which that could be. And not to say that you have it that way, but that's another thing to look at. But you can also set up a filter to say this email address, as soon as it comes in, push it to my inbox. So that's another option, and you can set the filter up.
How do you set up a filter?
So it's different on different, I don't have a Verizon email, but I can give you the idea. So, and basically what I'll do, set up filter on Verizon email. Let me show you here. All right, so this is what I just Googled here. And just set up filter on Verizon
email.
And basically in here, you'll notice that it kind of goes through different steps. And I say there's no general steps. The steps are always go to your settings, look for your email settings, and then you can go and try to filter it out.
Okay.
And push it to the place that it needs to go to.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay. So Sandra wrote in, how can I use a wallet? I have tickets for a future event.
Oh, nice. Hey, Sandra, you there?
Yep, she's right there. Let's unmute
Okay, I
Sandra.
see you waving. Can you go off of mute? I want to be able to hear your voice.
I'm sorry. Good afternoon.
There you are.
Good afternoon to you. How are you?
I'm doing well. We are going to a concert and
Sure.
we want to put the tickets in a wallet so we won't have paper. So how would I do that?
Okay, so I'm assuming that you received some type of email with some with your tickets to allow you to add it to your wallet.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the best way, because the way in which these tickets work is that they are, and I'm pulling up mine and see if I have anything here. No, let me check this one out. I can't add it. I want to show you the exact way of adding it, but it won't allow me to show you a live. Let's see here. No. Okay. So in your email, I'm gonna just pull up an old email where I had some plane tickets so I can show you what you would do. Wallet. Let's see here. Yeah, these tickets expired. So essentially what I could tell you the steps, what you're gonna have to do, I was trying to get an old email. The way these
Okay.
tickets work when you're adding something to your Apple Wallet is they have to be live. So for instance, if I book a flight today and it's gonna take off on Friday, I cannot add the ticket to my wallet until I check in. Does
Yeah,
that
gotta
make
check in
sense?
first. Yes.
So in your case now, being that you have tickets to something, they're allowing you to check in right now, even though that event could be a month from now. You can add those tickets to your wallet. So what I would do, the easiest way to do it would be to pull up that email on your phone. Once you go to that email, in that email, there should be an option to, these tickets, add to wallet. Once you
Okay.
tap on add to wallet, you'll notice that you'll be prompted to add them to your Apple Wallet and you'll see them. Now,
Okay.
once you're in there, I'll show you this here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I'm actually going to show you. Here's my screen here. All right.
Okay.
So here's my wallet right underneath notes. Now I don't have any tickets in there. I wish I had saved some in there, but basically you could see cards. Here's like a pass right here that I added. But
Okay.
if this was your ticket, for instance, you will want to tap on that and then you'll be able to present that at the place when you're actually able to give your ticket, and they'll be
Okay.
able to scan it. So I wish I had a more real example. I deleted all the old ones in there, but typically that's what you'll do once you add it to your wallet, and it'll just kind of live in there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. Let's see here. I have the next one. Oh, hi, congratulations. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is Uribe.
Yeah, it's Gloria. That's Gloria.
Oh, where's Gloria?
Gloria Uribe. She's there. You want to unmute Gloria? Hold on.
Sure.
Okay, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm
go
very,
ahead.
I'm not good. Okay, now you can even
Okay.
see me.
I can see you. Nice.
Okay,
All right. So I keep getting a message that says low data mode. What does that mean? I'll tell you
Yes.
exactly what that means. So yes. So what this means is, here, let me show you. Let me share this here. Share. Here, I want to share my iPhone screen with you all. So here we go, share iPhone via cable. Perfect. Okay, so in low data mode, I'll go to my cellular here. And
Okay.
in here, you'll see this particular phone. I'm going into the cellular options, cellular data options, and it says roaming on. So low data mode helps reduce cellular data usage. When low data mode is turned on, automatic updates and background tasks such as photo syncings are paused. So let's say when you are hitting that data point it'll go into this mode. And even if you have like unlimited, sometimes you can still turn this on. And so it just reduced the cellular usage. So you can turn that off in your features if it's annoying to you. I never personally have it on, but I know some people that have it off as well. On or
Because
off.
I'm trying to put an application, but I cannot do it. That keeps coming. So I should move that to low data mode on?
Yeah, so you can just turn that guy off then, because it's just basically just kind of killing all those background tasks. Anything that's running in the background, this is what you're seeing right here. And I keep it off on my devices, but it's to each his own.
Okay.
But if that's stopping you from doing whatever you're doing, I would definitely turn it off.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Gloria.
Okay, so now we have Gwen, how to retrieve info on a Lexar 3.0 jump drive, USB, it will not open.
Okay, Gwendolyn, you there? I'm looking.
Let's see if we can unmute Gwendolyn. Yeah, she's there. Let's see. Gwen, do you want to unmute? Casey has a question. Let's see, hang on a second. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. All right, so question, this jump drive that you have, what type of device are you putting it in? Are you putting it in a Mac or a PC computer?
A PC.
Okay, and then every time you put it in there, nothing pops up for you?
Nothing pops up.
Are you, when you go in, have you tried going into the file explorer and then looking at, you would see like a C drive where you can see that Lexar jump drive? Do you see it on the left-hand column, or it's just not coming up at all?
It's not coming up at all.
Okay. Has it worked on that computer in the past?
Yes.
Okay. I won't say that it's broken because I'm not there to physically look at it, but usually if you plug it in, it should come up. Now, one of the other things I would try is maybe try a different port. I have had it where I've plugged it into a computer, nothing comes up. I take it out, put it into another port on that computer, and it does come up. I would try every single port before we say that it could be broken. Then if it still doesn't come up on there, perhaps try someone else's computer just to rule out that it's the computer itself. If it pops up on there, it could be your ports or whatever. If it doesn't, it could be the drive. It could be broken. And emphasis on the word could, because I don't like to say something is something when I can't see it and really do the troubleshooting steps to figure it out. But I always try different ports, if you will, to ensure if it's the drive or the computer itself.
Thank you so much. I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll try different ports.
You're very welcome, Gwendolyn.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Bernice had a question. We'll unmute you, Bernice. Currently has a laptop and it needs to replace it. Can you address the differences between a laptop, hey Bernice, a laptop and a Chromebook rather than space? Can you recommend a brand in mid-price range?
Yeah, so man, great questions. I would say this, Bernice, when it comes down to what people need and recommendations, I usually, whenever I'm recommending something, I try to find out, more about how you are currently using the computer, and what you plan to do in the future to kind of fit you into the right car, right? So if you tell me that, you're going to be going on a road trip and one day you're going to get a puppy, I'll probably recommend, SUV. But if you just say, hey, you know what, I'm good with no puppy, just give me a car and I can still go on that road trip, I can tell you. So those analogies will be equivalent to the Chromebook or a laptop. Now, the difference between the two, the laptop is either going to be a Mac laptop, which is Apple, or it'll be a PC, which could be a Dell, a HP, a Sony, and so forth and so on. With any PC is going to run Windows 10 or Windows, most likely Windows 11. You get a little bit more oomph, if you will, out of a operating system such as Windows 11 or Mac OS, because you can download different programs on there that will be compatible with that. Now, the Chromebook, it is cheaper and it will work. It's more geared towards, if someone told me that they just want to be able to go on there and check their email, do some basic browsing, just basic stuff, I would say get a Chromebook. A Chromebook will definitely be sufficient. You could do Zoom, you could do a lot of things on that Chromebook. But if you wanted just a little bit more rev and potentially maybe down the line, have some storage, you know, store some photos on there, have like a word processing such as a Microsoft Office, there are ways to get that on the other computer, on a Chromebook, but I would say kind of go towards that route. Now, if you were to just want the basic stuff, the Chromebook is sufficient, but I say that you can find something that's kind of equal in price or a little bit more than the Chromebook that could still fit your budget needs. So with that, what are you primarily using your computer for right now?
Pretty much what you said, just surfing the web and emails, and I really don't need storage.
Yes.
But I need, what started is I need a new printer. And the laptop is old. So in order to sync everything, I have to buy something new.
I think the Chromebook could be sufficient. If you could just go to your email right on that Chromebook, you know, I think that will work because it will be compatible with that printer. And I would say it should be. If it's a newer printer and a Chromebook, they allow you to print with no problem. So to save a couple of bucks and to still do what you need to do, the Chromebook will be sufficient.
Is there a particular brand or a particular thing within the Chromebook that I should be looking for?
Yeah, let me show you here. So as you get to, let me pull something up. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so you all could see it. I just pulled up bestbuy.com. And this is normally what I would do if I was sitting in front of you. Sometimes when I recommend certain things, you have all of these different devices here, whereas, you know, here's a $119 Chromebook. This is very, very basic. Then you have this guy right here. So I'm looking at specs. And let me just blow this up. You know, 4 gigabytes of memory, and that's like RAM, not actual storage space. And then you have 32 gigabytes of flash memory. This guy right here has 128 gigabytes of flash memory, and then you have 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is allowing you to do multiple things at once. The more memory, the faster your computer could go. Now it has the storage where you can save some things. They're decent laptops, I would say, and it's not even really based on the price, but you can get a decent laptop that's not a Chromebook for around, you know, $600-700, decent. The more you pay, obviously, laptops are more expensive than desktops because they're mobile, and so you will pay a little bit more money. But if you were to get a Chromebook, I would say I would recommend, out of all of these, this guy's not bad because you're not looking for a lot of storage.
Which one are you talking about? What's the price range on it? The 8?
Yeah, I'm actually going to share this link with you right here. And this one isn't bad. I like the 8 gigabytes just to future-proof your purchase. So these right here, I'm going to compare these right here, and then I'm going to share them with you. So
it's Lenovo.
Yeah, so we have an Acer, a Samsung, a Lenovo. And so with that, I'll come over here and I'll share these this link with you. But this will kind of break it down as far as screen size. We see that this one's the biggest, 0.7 inches it has over it. But for the most part, the specs are essentially the same other than space. So this one right here, this Samsung, is 8 gigabytes and 128 gigabytes storage. And I think this is 64. So if I had to choose, I like the Lenovo, but I like the reviews from the Samsung, and I also like the reviews of the Acer. And the Acer is the cheapest one over here. This one will definitely suffice. This is a very nice to have, and this one will suffice as well in the Lenovo. But I think you would be okay with this. The only reason why I like these two is because it kind of future-proofs your purchase, because you're getting 8 gigabytes worth of memory. This one right here will give you more storage, and this one has the same about the same storage as the Lenovo has the same storage as the Acer.
Do you need to buy a keyboard? No.
No, keyboard will come with it, unless you wanted a different one. But I think this keyboard will be sufficient. That comes with it.
And you can put a mouse with it.
Absolutely, you can certainly buy a mouse and hook that up, and you can use that mouse.
Now, will the screen be very much different than on a PC? Will it be hard to use since I'm not familiar with it?
I wouldn't say hard to use. It obviously, listen, you're switching gears. I wouldn't even say it's a stick shift or automatic. It's very close to an automatic. In a sense that once you get on it, it's pretty intuitive, but like any new car, like whatever kind of car you drive, if you get into a rental car tomorrow, it takes a little getting used to that ignition, right? Or where the buttons are, because you're so used to driving your car and you've been driving it for years. So it's just a matter of, you know how to put a car into gear and to drive and to put it in reverse. You know the idea of it. It's just more about getting used to where the new buttons are on this new device. That's all.
Thank you so much for your input. You're always so very helpful.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I'm actually going to put this.
I'll let you know at the next session how I did.
Okay,
yes,
sounds
definitely
good.
do.
And I just sent
you.
that link over to you, Bernice, as well.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, so I know Ken Kramer, are you there? Can you unmute? Ken was having some issues getting on, and I know he had a question. So Ken, are you there?
Yes.
Okay,
Can you hear
Ken,
me?
you have the floor. Go ahead.
Okay, in researching these and different computers, I saw that they want you to charge your battery beginning at 20% and charge it to 80%. With the expectation that would lengthen the life of or durability of the battery. How do you feel about that?
When it comes down to batteries, there are a lot of different advice out there. Some people say, let it charge up to 100%, take it off, and let it kind of die down to about, 15, 20%, then plug it back up. As soon as it hits, and emphasis on as soon as it hits 100%, you're supposed to take it off. Not a second more, right? That's what they say. Otherwise, it's going to jeopardize the battery. What I find is that it's part true, it's kind of hard to do. So if I put my phone on the charger at night because I know I need it in the morning, it's hard to just wake up in the middle of the night and take that phone off the charger. Now, I could be very diligent and I could set an alarm to say, hey, you know what? Probably going to be charged around this time and I'm going to get up at that time and take it off, but I'm not that guy. I let it kind of charge throughout the night, and I don't do that every night. I am very cognizant of my battery life for all my devices, but there are times I just need to plug it in and go. To get the most out of your battery life, it is very smart to, allow it to go to 100%. I think I like it to go to 100 instead of 80, because I have read that as well. But usually I literally allow my devices to get down to about 15 or 20%. And there are days that I'm just running like crazy where I get down to 1% and I am trying to make that last phone call and it dies out on me because I've been going crazy all day. So it's really hard to say, but for the most part, I try my best not to leave my phone on the charger overnight. I try to charge it beforehand and then kind of put it in this low power mode before I go to sleep. So I got enough juice in the morning, and then I can plug it back in the morning, and then I can go. And this is with any type of device that you have that takes where you charge the battery. Now, what they're doing with, I know Apple devices, they're kind of giving you an idea as to what your battery life is like, and you can always go and see it. And I think they're doing it with the Windows devices. I don't want to say 100%. So I'll show you on here to give you all an idea. We have battery here, and we have this new battery health. It's been there for a few years now, but when you go to the battery health, it tells me my maximum capacity is at 90%. When I first got this phone, it used to be 100%. Now, judging by the way devices are being used, I think this is great because I've had this phone for about 4 years now, and I'm still at 90%, the way in which I charge this phone. But the people who are charging it all day long, and then the people I see that have battery packs on there, it does dwindle out the battery. And most people with a phone this old, their capacity, their ceiling is at 75, 80%. So I've done a great job with this workshop phone to keep it at 90, but over time, every battery will deplete.
That applies to computers as well.
Absolutely.
I have a laptop that I'm trying to, now it will only charge 80%, but there's a setting in there somewhere that I think I can go and change it to 100. But LG says that their batteries are designed to be charged up to 80%.
Yeah, I personally don't have that device. And I think that it's kind of like, it's different on different devices. I know in which my devices, I can charge them up to 100%, and a lot of devices in which I work with. There's one device that I was reading the directions, and it says, never allow the battery to go to really just die out, because if it dies out completely, the device may never turn back on. And I'm like, I've never seen that in my life. But if you allow that particular battery to deplete, then you're risking that it can never come back on. So every battery is different. My rule of thumb, that's kind of like general for all devices, is just never just leave it on the charger all day long. Once it hits that maximum capacity, if you're around, if you are awake, just take it off that charger, so then it can now live its life free of the battery without the charger, and then it can kind of know when to use the juice and not. Now, whenever you're doing something, there was a client that I was working with. She's been with us for a while. She was having some issues. She replaced the battery, did all of these different things, and she's like, "Well, my battery died so quick on my laptop." I said, "Oh, okay. What are you doing on your laptop, if you don't mind me asking, to allow it to die so quick?" She said, "Well, I'm streaming." I'm like, "Well, that's gonna kill your battery. You're not gonna get the 10 hours. Even if you buy a brand new laptop or a brand new device, if you're doing something that's very strenuous, even though it may say a brand new iPhone up to 14 hours, whatever the number is, if you're streaming on there, you're probably gonna get like maybe 3 or 4 hours on that battery, because it's using all the resources." So I wish I could give you a better answer. I just think that if they're telling you that, I would go by their advice. My rule of thumb is just never leave it on the charger when it's charged at that ceiling.
And the other thing is they say that if you leave it on, that sometimes it could overheat, and then of course there's a danger of fire.
Yeah, it can overheat, and I've seen in cell phones and computers, laptops particularly, where they just leave it on the charger all day long. Like they'll have a laptop that's connected to a monitor and it's on the charger all day, and then the keyboard will kind of raise up because the battery bursted inside. That's very dangerous. I don't recommend that. And I've seen that on iPhones. Some people will have those little devices, the little Mophie things, where it's always charging the phone. And I've seen where the phone just kind of cracks because it's on the charger all day. They put it on a regular charger, then they have the Mophie charging it up, and the battery will just like get really plump. And I've seen people still use these phones, and I'm like, that's very dangerous. The battery has bursted. Yeah. And I don't know what you're being exposed to, but I wouldn't want to be that guy.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Ken.
So John has some questions. I have some performance questions regarding my 8-year-old Dell laptop. John, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. And
All right.
let me preface this with, I'm very similar to Bernice in that I'm actually questioning whether my 8-year-old laptop should be replaced. And it's based upon a tremendous amount of time for it to create a screen from when I put in the PIN, to get access.
Sure.
It takes a long time. And I also should tell you that I can't remember the prior to Windows 10, but I had that when I bought the computer. And then when Windows 10 came out, I used the free upgrade. But I did that once before with my first laptop, and I noticed a tremendous slowness, in general to the new, operating system. So
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, so I really want you to kind of cover that. What are you doing when you take a laptop that had one operating system, put the more newer operating system, and what should you expect at that point in terms of performance?
So this is a really great question. So every time I'm actually recommending a computer, and I'm training our nerds to do the same, is we base it off of the specifications of that particular computer. So if you all were to say, if John said, hey, Julius, I need a new computer. We're not even talking about restoring the old computer. He's like, I need a new computer. I will go in and I'm thinking about what is to come, right? Not just tomorrow, but I want to make sure that we can future-proof his purchase so that he can keep the next computer for the next 5 to 8 years. Because when it comes down to this technology, what happens, you have to take into consideration the processor, you have to take into consideration the memory and the hard drive, the type of hard drive and how much space you have. So for instance, in your case, whenever you're upgrading to a new operating system, sometimes if the specifications, the specs were not the ideal specs to kind of run this new operating system as like in its most optimal way, which no older computer will be that guy. I've had Macs, I've had PCs that were older, and then you put the new operating system on there and it's a little sluggish. So it's gonna happen with every device, but what you can do is anytime you buy a new computer, right now, I would say on a bad day, if you're buying a new computer, you should have at least 8 gigabytes of memory. Again, that is not storage space because that usually gets confused. People get it confused. The memory itself, what it is though I have all of you people here and I say, I can remember everybody's name and face, but let's add another 100. Then I'm like, is that Ken? And that's John. My memory starts to go a little berserk because I'm not built to remember 200 people's name. It's the same thing with the computer. Your computer with at least 8 gigabytes is going to be sufficient for you to check your email, to listen to some music, to maybe look for a flight, do all of these different things at once. And your computer's like, okay, yeah, I can handle that. Or I can do that too. But once you start to add a lot of different processes, the processor and the memory, they're working in conjunction to serve you whatever you want. So I would always start with 8 gigabytes of memory. Now, if you really, really want to future-proof it, go with 16. That's going to give you a lot of longevity and allow you to update. Windows operating systems, the new Windows 11, for instance, it's heavy. So it will make an older computer that wasn't built for it, even though it can upgrade to it, just a little slower. Some computers even more slower than the other ones because of the specifications. Now, if you had to opt for a 8 gigabyte memory or 16 gigabytes of memory with a hard drive, you want to go in an SSD, solid state drive, hard drive, versus an HDD. That typical old school with the spinning disk in there, the solid state drive is going to be a lot faster and it will serve up those things work in conjunction with the memory to give you a better experience. So anything that you all are looking for, I don't care what type of cell you're having or seeing, try your best not to get a computer with an old HDD. You want to get a solid state drive, SSD, and get enough space that'll allow you to grow into it. You may not be saving a lot of pictures or a lot of documents today, but maybe 2 years from now, maybe you are. You don't want to box yourself in by getting a smaller hard drive. So I say all of that to say, pay attention to the specifications. Every computer, when you upgrade the operating system, it will slow you down a little bit, no matter what type of device you have.
I hear what you're saying, and I think in this last one, 8 years ago, I pretty much did what you were talking about in terms of what I needed, because I think I got the higher amounts and everything. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about is, because I have this picture project that I've been working on for, I'm not kidding, 20 years, even before I had computers.
Wow.
I got a terabyte drive, and I don't know if it's SSD or H or whatever.
Yeah.
But I kind of think that to ask the question, does that have, in other words, the fact that I got a big terabyte drive, could that slow down the operation of the computer?
Yeah, the drive itself. So when I've seen it where when you have, it's probably not a solid state, because at that time, 8 years ago, they were very expensive, super expensive. Right. So when it comes down to it, I've seen where a computer slows down when it's too little space. I've seen people get down out of all the space they had, like 2 gigabytes. I'm like, hey, you're on the verge of shutting down your whole computer, and I may not be able to wake it up. So I have to literally go over there and do CPR, breathe some life back into it, delete some stuff. Then next thing you know, the computer's back. And I'm like, get all of this stuff out of here right now. Otherwise, your computer could die. And in addition to that, what you could do, like PCs still allow you to defrag. I think it's an old school way of doing things. But that could be a problem where it's just like, just sectors need to be repaired, and you can go and do that. Another thing, if you have a lot of...
sorry to interrupt, but I can't find that on this laptop. It was on my prior laptop 8 years ago, but it doesn't seem to come in the package.
Yeah, on Windows 10, it's going to be optimize your drive. So it's like defragment and optimization. So you can actually, if you go into like the settings, you could find to optimize that drive. That could make it run a little faster. But one of the things I would say is, if you've been, I hope you're backing up. If a project this big, make sure you're backing up and getting a carbon copy.
Yeah, I have an external drive.
Perfect. Yeah. So with that, I would say, that could be a factor, but I wouldn't say that's the only factor. Sometimes it could be malware. Sometimes it could be a virus. It could be different things that can kind of slow down your computer.
I have McAfee I have a McAfee.
Okay.
Protection.
Yeah, so that's why I always say could, because I'm not sure without seeing it, but you could run and you can make sure that there's no malware. If you say there's no malware, then it could just be the age of the computer, just kind of, doing what it should be doing at 8 years right now. With everything that we're doing right now, obviously it's different than 8 years ago. So it's going to move a little different.
But to just paraphrase what you just told me, I think you just said that the fact that I have a terabyte drive on there, just the virtue of its size, does not equate to it slowing down.
No, I wouldn't say that. Normally I've seen just when you get to like close to the full capacity and it's just you need
about 50%. Now, so.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't say that's a factor based upon what we're talking about right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julius.
All right, you're very welcome, John. My pleasure.
Okay, I see Helen, if you want to unmute. Go ahead.
Hey, Helen. Oh, wait, I can't hear you yet.
Helen, can you hear us? Yeah, it's muted. I see that you unmuted, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
I think that's a problem. See, if you want to try and
Got it?
you can chat it in. If you know how to use the chat, maybe that can help. We can answer.
Okay.
Okay, try and chat that in. So Maxim had a question. How do I change the privacy setting on the Mac?
Privacy setting. Hey, Maximum, how are you? How are you? I'm looking for you right now. Okay, there you go. I see you. So you want to change the privacy settings?
Yes.
For what particular program?
When I try to look at some websites, say I'm doing regular shopping on it, like Macy's. This is no the computer. It says that what I'm going to the site I'm interested in is not private, and that I have to enter my details to view that website to say it's okay for me to look at it. So I want to know how to change the privacy setting on it, because it's.
So really quick, so when you go to a website, it's saying that you can't look at that site because of, does it give you?
It said the information, what I'm about to see is not private. Other people could view it.
Okay.
This is like a shopping. Say I'm on the Macy's or something, and Macy's is one of the sites I can't just open on that computer.
Interesting.
And then I have to give my okay, put my Apple ID information on to open that site, so it will open up and show me the site regularly. So I want to know how to change that privacy setting.
The reason why I'm asking that is because if it's saying what I think it's saying, the only time it will go is like if it's not an SSL certificate, meaning it's not a secure connection. So you have to validate it. If that's the case, I would be very wary of that domain unless you know the people that own that site. Be very careful. So if it's a third-party site, not a Macy's, and it's just joeschmo.com, and you know. But if it's another site that's a really big site, you should not be seeing that. And I'll tell you why. Let me just share my screen here. I just don't like the sound of that because that means it's an SSL certificate issue. So let's go here. I'm going to open up Google Chrome. Like here's Macy's, for instance. And I want everyone, I've brought this up in my classes before, security. So here I'm able to go to this site. If I go here, if you notice, this is a secure connection.
Right.
So it will always allow me to get in because that's this lock right here at the very top. Now, if it tells you, I'm trying to think, I was just on a website that did not have a secure connection, and it was, let me see, is it this one here? Nope. That's not it. It's let me, because I want you all to see this. If it's let me see here, Lawrence Franco. Here. Okay, here we go. So here is a site right here, and it still doesn't give me that, but I could see that this site is not secure. And it tells me right up here, your connection to this site is not secure. I know them, and we're working on a new site for them, but I already told him that this site is not secure. You need to secure it. If it's telling you, if it's a message in the middle of the screen and saying that this site is not secure, the connection is secure, and you have to give your credentials, there's no way to get around it that I know of. Apple is basically saying, hey, we'll let you go into this site, put in your credentials right here, validate it, because you'll never blame us. And that's their whole thing where they're like, you can go into it, but you have to put into your computer your credentials to validate so that you can actually get there. But I'm thinking that's the message that you're seeing.
Yeah.
If you want to like screenshot it now, if it's a legitimate website, like you said, and you're looking at the domain and it's still giving you that, I would try to pull it up in another browser to see if it gives you the same error message, because that just seems like it's off. A Macy's, if you're getting it, everybody should get that same message, you know,
Okay.
if it's not secure. So just be aware.
All right.
All right. Perfect. And
Okay. So Mary Lou, how difficult is it to learn subtitling movies in another language on the various platforms?
oh, that's a good one. I love reading subtitles, even on English movies. So I always put them on. Where I'm looking for Mary Lou. I'm looking for you on
See if we
here.
can unmute Mary Lou. Mary Lou, you there? Mary Lou has left the room. All right, well, we can move on unless Mary Lou's not with us right now. So to answer that, we have so many other questions here. It's getting late, and I do see Helen, I see your hand up again. And I don't know if you're mute. If we unmute you, let's see if this works.
Okay. Is
there
it
we
working?
go.
Is
Yes.
it good?
Bravo.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's my old computer, and I have a 10-year-old Panasonic PC.
Got it.
And I noticed that, like, if I was working on it, the battery'd only last 20 minutes. So what I started to do was I'm leaving it plugged in all the time. Also, I have to use an Ethernet cable with my modem to make my computer work. Is that dangerous, leaving my PC plugged in all the time? Because the battery really isn't, it doesn't have any power anymore.
I wouldn't say it's dangerous. I mean, in your case where your battery life is already kind of gone, I would say that's your only option. There have been computers that I work on where it doesn't even give you 20 minutes. It's an older device, and not even as old as that one, but they've had it plugged in so long that as soon as you take it off the charger, it completely dies because it's only reliant upon that charger. So it's not that it'll just like kind of like catch fire or anything like that. If nothing is physically warped and, you know, physically it's still intact, I think that's fine. You can keep it plugged in with no problems.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
All right, you're very welcome.
Okay, and Diane, if you want to unmute.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. I have an old computer and it's very slow. Like when I go to Finder and I want to open up a file, it's slow. Mm-hmm. Apple had told me that if I upgrade to 8 gigabytes of memory and a solid state drive, my computer would be fine. Just 1 minute. Hello? Yes, you can let them in. Thank you. Okay, and they said that my computer would be okay. I don't know how much it would cost, but does it pay to update a 10-year-old computer? I mean, I have the DVD drive on it. I have Word 10 on it. I know if I got a new computer, it doesn't have a lot of things the old computer has. And I also leave my plugged in all the time, which I don't know if it's good or not. You know, what I should do if I need, you know, I really don't want to spend the money for a new Apple computer. I like the Apple. I use all Apple devices. What would you suggest?
The couple of suggestions. One, being it is 10 years old, and then, you know, same thing I just told the other young lady, as far as the battery at 10 years and you've always keep it plugged, you kind of know the life. You can take it out and just see how fast it goes down. Again, if it's not physically warped, you can leave it plugged in because you'll probably lose a lot of juice. Now, to get a solid state drive in that computer and new memory, you probably at a 10-year-old computer, you're ceiling. You could probably only upgrade to 8 gigabytes. And I'm just judging by the fact of you have a MacBook Pro or MacBook Air from 10 years ago.
MacBook Pro.
Okay, so MacBook Pro.
And I only have 4 gigabytes of memory.
That makes sense.
At that time, it was enough.
Yeah, that time it was more than enough. It was great. But yeah, in that particular computer, I'm pretty sure that you will only be able to go to 8 gigabytes. So if you did 8 gigabytes as well as a solid state drive, you probably will see a speed difference. I don't know what the processor is for that guy.
You want to know the it's a 2.5 GH Intel Core i5, 1600 mAh hertz, DDR3.
DDR3. So
I have 5
that's good.
gigabytes of storage.
Okay.
399.91 used. Or 2 memory slots with 2 GB each. Intel HD graphics, 4,036 MB.
Yeah, so I don't understand anything you just said. I'm just kidding. I understand everything you said. No, it makes sense. So what you can in both of the slots, you can go 4 gigabytes, 4 gigabytes. You can get a solid state drive in there. You want to make sure, I wouldn't say take it to the Geek Squad, not because we're nerds and they're geeks and we don't like them, but we are nerds and they're geeks and we don't like them. In addition to that, I would just say that they will put the wrong memory in there a lot of the times. Memory and hard drive is very important. I remember working on this device years ago, maybe about 7 years ago, and I bought memory. They bought memory from Best Buy. We put it in there, and it's supposed to take it to the next level. It slowed it down even more. So what we found is that that memory was not compatible with Apple devices. So
They
one of
told me
the
to go on
to Crucial.
what's the name of the store? On Merrick Road. With an M. What's the name of that store? I can't remember. Either PC Richards in Farmingdale or the store in Westbury.
Yeah, I'm
those
not
are
sure.
authorized stores. It's an authorized Apple store.
If it's an authorized Apple store, you're in good hands. It's equivalent as to going to the Apple store because those guys are certified and they will give you what you need to make that device right. Now, you may come out of there paying like $300.
That's
maybe
worth it, I think.
Yeah, so just now that I don't know their pricing, but I would say that's a good number to get a decent sized hard drive and a little memory. Go and check their rates, but make sure they're using compatible Apple memory and a compatible Apple hard drive. They're not all created equal, even though you can install it. So just be cognizant of that.
That's why they sent me there, because it's an authorized, only there or PC Richards and Farmers there. Why can't I remember the name of the store? Something Max? What's the name of it?
I'm not sure. If it's an authorized Apple dealer, you're in good hands because they have to go according to the guidelines of Apple. That's it.
I know they're in. I don't know why I don't remember. But does it pay to do it? Will I get good results? Do you think?
I would say if you really want to keep that computer, you really want the DVD drive, you can't upgrade the operating system no matter if you upgrade the hardware after.
I'm on Mojave now.
Yeah, so you're probably, I don't know what the ceiling is for you, but the downside of it, you can't upgrade the operating system past. You can't get the new Monterey, the one that we have with the older computer. So that's the downside. The other side is you can apply that same $300-400, whatever they're going to charge you, to a new computer and keep that guy for the next 5 to 10 years as well. So that's the other option. It just kind of depends on how you're planning to use it. And hopefully that all the other components will stay, solid.
That's what I'm afraid, or all the other components aren't good. I tried to get a number for the telephone, for the store, to the tech department. I can't even get a number. I didn't know if I have to make an appointment or not. You can't get
I would go in and ask
today.
them first to see how much you're going to pay. A new Apple, something that will be equivalent, if not faster than yours, is a MacBook Air, and you can get those for like $899, $999.
I thought it was more like $1,300.
That's the MacBook Pros. They start
Yes,
there.
that's what I have.
Yeah, so you don't have to get a MacBook Pro. You could be okay with a MacBook Air for sure.
What's the difference?
Speed, you're talking like Audi A8 to the Audi A4. You're still going to be able to hit some nice speeds in both of them. They're both fast cars. The MacBook Pro just gets you to do a little bit more juice. Most people have a MacBook Pro and they're not even using all the components that they need to and getting the most out of it. They drive it like a Volkswagen, pretty much.
I use Word, I use Excel, I use Mail.
All of that stuff you'll be able to do with a Mac Air for sure. Yeah.
So that would be enough. I also have an Apple III watch, and it loses battery power very quickly. Is that the nature of it?
That's the nature. Over time with the operating systems, over time with all the charges that you've done, that will happen. So you can probably take it in to see if Apple can replace the battery, but everything with a battery will deplete over time, for sure.
This is from the beginning. I have trouble with it, with the battery on the Apple Watch. And I try to take off the apps, but every time it updates, the apps come back.
Yeah, that should not be. And if you've had problems with that battery since the beginning, I would say that that's just a problem child. It shouldn't be. You should be able to get a full charge out of there.
Are the newer Apple Watches, do they have a better battery?
They actually do. They have I don't have the latest, but I've had, pretty much the 4, I think the 5. They are getting more battery life in the newer watches for sure.
Which one would you recommend if I were to buy a new one?
I would say go with the latest just so you can future-proof that purchase and make it worthwhile. They are getting cheaper over time, and you can keep that guy forever the next few years as well, and it'll take all the different updates.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But with the computer, I should find out how much it is. If it's more than $300 or $400, I should get a new computer.
If it was more than $300-$400 and you asked us to do it, we wouldn't take your money because it'll be just stealing your money. It's a waste. I would definitely tell you to invest it into a new computer, and that way you have some more longevity out that new guy.
Am I wasting my money now to update it?
I personally wouldn't recommend it. I think it's both sides. If you do that, you're going to get a cheaper price, but I would say invest your money in a newer computer. I like future-proofing purchases for security purposes, having the latest operating system. That's what I usually recommend.
And how much memory, if I get a new one, should I put into it? Because it's usually extra.
I mean, when it comes down to memory, I would go with the standard 8 gigabytes. I don't think you need more than 8 gigabytes of memory. And as far as the storage space, you would be okay. I live with 256 gigabytes. That kind of depends on your use.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think I have now. I really have to get rid of some of the stuff on it, but that takes time. And the emails, I can't keep up with getting rid of emails, with deleting emails. It's just impossible. I get like 300 emails a day. I can't get rid of all of them.
No, I'm on a level with you.
So you don't have a trick for that?
I wish. We're working on that technology. Give us another 100 years, we'll have it down pat.
Okay, good. And I can't, I try to unsubscribe, it doesn't work. I don't want all these emails.
Yeah, that's like a problem across the board. And actually, I see that that Sharon had a problem. She can't see Julius in speaker view. Are you not seeing Julius in speaker view, Sharon? Sharon, are you there?
Wait,
I'm here. Okay, can you see Julius and speak? Do you know how to do that? Because we can show you how to do that.
No, I know how to do it. It's just his picture's not showing up.
Oh, well, Julius, you want to?
I can see you. I can see you in the gallery view, but when I switch it to speaker view, it's just the blank screen.
Oh, that's weird.
That might be a reboot, just like shutting down and turning back on.
Yeah.
So you know where to find speaker view, gallery view, that little button.
Yeah. Yes.
And when you toggle it to speaker right now, it's not showing me or Julius, or, well, Julius really it would be. No.
Switching back. No, nothing.
That might be something. And Julius, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say maybe, like you said, give it a restart, because if you're able to see me in this view here, you should be able to see me in a speaker view as well.
I'll have to shut it off and turn it back on again. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because I just checked as well. Mine, I'm able to see speaker as well as the gallery. Is everyone else able to see me in a speaker view?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give that a shot, Sharon, just to see if you restarted, if that would fix your problem.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're very welcome.
Right. So I see that, well, Betty would like to future-proof her brain. Any ideas on that one?
We're working on that technology too.
All right, they're working on it. Check back with us.
Yes.
And then Sherry is getting a new Android phone. Anything recommendations for under 150?
So when it comes down to these the phones, like, it's crazy. Most of the phones, like even these Apple devices, on a good day, you might be able to get one for around $600, $700, and it's an older iPhone. But the latest and the greatest phones with all the bells and whistles, they're like between $800 and $1,000. This is where we are with the phones. Back in the day, people would have been like, no one will ever buy a phone for that price, but we all have them. it's crazy, which is why, and they have the payment plans, which is kind of just allowing you to pay the 18, 19, 20 or 30 bucks a month for the phone. Now, something for 150 bucks, it's hard to say. It's not even about the price, it's more about the type of phone. I wouldn't say be wary of a phone that costs that, cheap, because it could be a good device, but it could be an older device or a device that doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, or a device that's just kind of cheaply made and won't give you the best bang for your buck. You might have more problems than a little bit. I do know some people who have cheaper phones and they use it on a very basic level, just straight phone, and not really care about the whole smartphone component. So it all depends on the device and the reviews on that phone.
Okay. So I see Martha Brown, if you want to unmute. She's hanging on the beach. There we go.
Okay.
I can't see, I can't get speaker view to come up on my iPad either today for some reason.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm not sure what the case is.
Yeah, I tried at the beginning. I can see you here, but not.
And the two little toggle back and forth, it says view with all the.
Yes, yeah, I tried,
nothing?
I first got on and I tried several times. It just wouldn't, it pulled up a blank screen.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
wish I would take a look at it and see. I know we're going to be doing a Zoom class, and I'll see if there's something that I can look up prior to that, why some people can and why some people can't. But I know you normally could see speaker view, but it's just not working now, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
It could be, obviously resetting, also even checking the version in which you have for Zoom. They're always putting out updates. For instance, I'm usually able to just share my phone screen wirelessly, but today I had to use the wire because I did an update right before we came on, and I didn't restart my computer, and it won't allow me to do the wireless version. So they're always doing updates, and that just may be the case for you too.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Rita, this is going back to when we're talking about keeping items plugged in. She said, so should we not leave our laptop plugged in all the time? And then I don't know if she wrote a bigger chat on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that one years ago, how to dial up Frontier modem faster years ago. Now we get issues with the connectivity and switching back and forth between plugging it into the modem and unplugging it. Occasionally we have to restart the modem. One person told me I need a new modem, and someone else says that has nothing to do with losing connectivity.
Okay, so basically the first part of the question, I would not recommend, unless your computer is just that old and won't hold a charge, recommend you leaving your laptop plugged in all the time. If you got a little juice in there, take it off, allow it to just be to increase your life with that computer off the charger.
We were used to a computer. We were used to a regular computer, so we didn't know how to handle a laptop. Didn't trust to take it off.
Sure, and I find it a lot. You're not the only one. Everyone does it, and it's not just the older people, it's the younger people as well. And I'm like, what are you doing to your phone? You keep it charged. So take it off when you can, when it hit that 100%, and then then just remember to plug it back in. It will remind you because it will die, and then you plug it back in and you'll get it back up. Now, as it relates to the internet issue, without obviously, I usually, anytime we set up the internet for any person or business, we have to physically go out there and take a look at it. One of the things I usually consider is if there's a problem with the connection itself, I like to isolate the issue. So one, if you're getting a good connection all day long and you never fail by being plugged up, that means that your modem itself and your internet connection is pretty solid coming into the house if it never goes out while being plugged up via Ethernet. Now, when you take your computer off the Ethernet and now you're connecting to the Wi-Fi, it could be a connectivity issues where you have a signal issue where it just can't reach that far, or your modem router is not strong enough to route the signal throughout the house to give you that consistent connection. So, but if you're having problems at the modem, even plugged in via Ethernet, I would call that internet service provider that you have and have them come and test their connection to see what the problem is, because you should always at least get a solid connection with the Ethernet.
Sometimes, if I go to settings, it says I have a connection, but whatever program I'm in, it says it doesn't.
Yeah, so but is that via Ethernet or via wireless?
I'm not sure. I think both, because like I say, if one's getting real slow and not working, I switch to the other. Oh, it's better. Okay. And then it doesn't last.
Yeah,
I go back to the other one.
That shouldn't be. If you're getting, so the only way I would look at this is very black and white. If you could just stay connected to your Ethernet and you have a solid connection, it doesn't go out for the next 2 days. It's not your Ethernet. It's not your internet connection coming in. If it's your router and you're connected to the router wirelessly, it could be the signal, or it could actually, or the way in which it's routed, or it could actually be just it doesn't have a really good connection itself. So you would have to test that out, and then I would get one of the people from your company to come and take a look at it to differentiate, or to figure out exactly what's causing the problem, because it could be a wire.
I've got one of the cheapest plans. So might it be that they only let me have so many hours, then I'm off?
It depends on the company. Most of them allow you to have free reign. It's an all you can eat buffet as long as you pay that bill every single month. But if it's going in and out, that's a problem. They should not limit you that way. I don't know an internet company that does that, but I would check with your plan. And if they are doing that, then that's going to answer the question. If they're not, I will have somebody come out and run some tests on those lines for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and yeah, if you want to unmute, and I'd see you, Marianne, but go ahead, Frida.
Hey, Frida.
Hi, Julius. No, I'm just waiting for you to tell the story. I don't want you to
forget the story. Okay.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yes.
My attention is 100%.
Yes.
Okay, let me just get to Marion's question, and then we'll finish it up with the story.
I want to hear it.
Okay, we won't forget it. It's 5:20.
That one after Marion. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay, so let's go. Go ahead, Marion.
Yes, I have a question. With the Zoom set up, the basic is free, and I think it's 35 minutes or so.
Yes.
So if you wanted to extend the time that you're on Zoom, is it better to go ahead and pick a plan and pay that amount that's required monthly?
I would say, so if I'm not mistaken, I believe that you can join other people's Zoom and be on for however long they have it. But if you were the one to set up the Zoom call, at least it used to be this way, 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, when I first joined Zoom, you used to have 45 minutes at that point in time where you can host a call, and that will be your ceiling, and it will drop everyone off. But if you had a free account, you can join a call for about 3 hours at that time, and it didn't matter if you didn't initiate it. They needed to pay for the plan. So it just depends. If you're hosting calls, then I would say, yeah, definitely pay whatever, $14 a month to host, and then you can have unlimited time. But if not, if you're just joining Zooms, I believe it's still the same, where you could just join calls and not have to pay anything extra.
Okay, so the length of the call of the meeting, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter if you're joining.
I wanted to stay from the beginning until it's over.
Yeah, it should allow you, like if you've been on this call since the beginning, I think it still should allow you to be on there for as long as this call goes, because My Health Angel, they have a paid account, and that's how we're all on, right? If we were to join mine, if you have a paid account, you all can come on mine and still be able to stay on that call. But now if you initiate the call, after 35 minutes, it's going to boot you since you have a free account.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I know you want to tell the story. It's getting late, but I see Elvira and Debbie. So real quick, let's go. Elvira, go ahead.
Yes, I'm calling about, I want to ask a question about my Android phone.
Yes.
I'm I'm on with about, I have a thread with about 15 to 17 individuals, and I can get their messages, but I can't send a message, and it says that I have more than 10 people. What do I have to do to be able to get to interact with people with more than on my thread if I have more than 10 people?
On your email thread or your text messages?
My text messages.
And I've never heard of that. I have where you could just send messages, whoever's in that group. I've never tried. I mean, I think I'm on a thread, a family thread with about 15 people, maybe about 20 people on there, and I've never even had that question. I'm not sure why you're not able to send messages to those people. I would check with your carrier. Sometimes I know this happens with email, where if you try to send an email message to multiple people over a certain number, and it depends on what each email account, they may think you're spamming people, so they'll stop you. I'm not sure if your carrier thinks you're doing that as well, but I've never personally, I wish I had an answer. I don't know why that's happening, because I have been on text message threads, I would say maybe like 20, 22 people, and I've never had that issue before. That's very odd that you can't message back. If you're able to see theirs, but you can't message back.
Yeah, on one, I can see all of the messages. I'm on 2 threads. On the other, I only see one message, but I can't send a message on either of the 2 threads.
Yeah, I wish I would have to take a look at that with you. And being there was, I mean, obviously I can't even see your device, but I've never had that issue before where you can't send on a message thread. It's literally just a bunch of people on the message. If every number in there is accurate, like you say it is, you should be able to message those people. So I would reach out to your carrier just to see if there's some type of block or something.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. I wish I can help more.
All right, so last question's coming from Debbie, and then you'll tell us that story because I know it's getting late. Go ahead.
Just quickly, I have a Zoom trick. So you can only book a Zoom for 40 minutes, right? So what I do is that with family, we do a Zoom call every 3 weeks. I book 3 sessions. So if it's at 6 o'clock, it ends at like 6:40. I book another one at 6:45 because it gives you time to get back in. I hope nobody from Zoom is listening, but I do it so that it's round the clock, so we could just keep going in and talking. Everybody just logs out and then logs back in.
Yeah,
I'm reporting you right now, Debbie.
Don't tell anybody.
Right. That's great. Well, thank you,
that's
Debbie.
awesome.
Yes, you could always redial in and use the same link and redo that 40-minute call. That is correct. But in this case, we definitely we have the time. So now with the everybody's been dying to know about the story that you came on and opened with.
Yeah.
So if you want to just briefly tell us that before we go, because I know we're doing Zoom tips and tricks on our next call with you. So go ahead if you want to.
Yeah, I'll keep this as short as possible, and we'll go over it with the cybersecurity. But Kevin was on the call. Kevin's another nerd that's on this call right now. He's been silent, just kind of looking in. But he was on a call the other day, and there was a lady in which I personally helped as well in Boynton, and she got taken. I'm just going to start out for $49,000 US, right? And as crazy as it sounds, like I feel very bad because although she had it, it's not something that, she saved for her whole life, for this money. And this is her retirement money. But essentially someone called her up and they told her that someone got into her bank account and made these charges with PayPal, and you see them with Amazon. They use all of these different companies. When they get onto your computer, they're able to manipulate the code to make you think that they refunded you extra money, and then they play on your emotions to say, oh my God, now I'm going to lose my job at PayPal. even though, you know, we refunded you $10,000 by accident, please go to your bank and get that money or I'm going to lose all my whole life and all of this stuff. Long story short, is I was blown away that she went through the different steps to take this money, physically going getting $49,000 in cash, wrapping it up in a box and shipping it out and thinking that it's going to this company. And I know a few different people, not this much, that have fell for a trick like this. And you may say, hey, it's never me. They're very cunning. These guys are very good at what they do. And I'm not giving them a pat on the back. I'm just literally letting you all know, be cognizant. And I was thinking like, man, why didn't she call us? But they scared the bejesus out of her. And she's just like, no, I got to do this. I got to do this and I got to do that. And when they get into your computer, they do a lot of different things to try to convince you that you're the one that's crazy, like gaslighting, right? So I want you all to, the reason why I wanted to tell that story is for you all to, one, be aware. When we do another cybersecurity class, come tell your friends, join that class, because we will talk about it in depth. And in addition to that, tell people exactly what I'm telling you. You don't have to have all the details, but just let them know, hey, I was this tech guy. He said that someone got scammed out of $49,000. If someone calls you up and you don't know them and it's PayPal, it's Apple, it's Google, it's Amazon, and they're saying something that sounds too crazy, call somebody that knows what they're doing and have them get on the phone with them. Don't take it and be a hero and say, oh, I'm going to save this guy's life. Just, they're really good at what they're doing and they're targeting people that are over the age of 60 mostly, but anybody that will fall for the trick, because I still get the calls. And sometimes I pick up and they hang up on me because they know that I'm not going to go for it. They're looking for somebody that's older and a little bit more gullible. So I tell you all of that because I really, truly care. I don't care if you have $1 billion in the bank, that's your money. Or if you have $3 in the bank, it's your money. Don't give it away for free. Now, if you find that you want to give some money away for free, I'll give you my bank account and you can send it right to me, okay? I will take it gladly, all right? But I don't want your money. All jokes aside, just be aware, be vigilant. Don't allow your friends to fall for it, and don't fall for it yourself, because it really broke my heart to see that this woman is going through this right now. And I kid you not, she does not have it like that.